She got cheats, she got smiles, she got business on the side. She got treats for them guys when the baby out of town. Got cheats, got sides, funny business on her mind. She's so pleased with her life, mind her business, I'm on mine. Got cheats, got sides. Have a treetop, swinging my V-side, put up a cool. With the party, sipping her coffee, epic up. With a kid out, she too weird, I like a tattoo. Then it funny, but I wonder, ayy. How many times can you stay in the winter? With a kid out, she too weird, I like a tattoo. How can you go to keep back you one, but it funny, but I wonder, ayy. I wanted some land, I wanted something to move. But you on the train, and I want this going to chew. She got cheats, she got smiles, she got business on the side. She got treats for them guys when the baby out of town. Got cheats, got sides, funny business on her mind. She's so pleased with her life, mind her business, I'm on mine. Time, leaning like in pizza. Put them knees down, squeeze it like a breeze. Got the teeth done, had to fill the crease up. Saw the sneakers by the door and realized it was time to go. Weighted blankets couldn't come for me. I'll need more to ever catch a scene. I keep wondering what I didn't see. She a damn good thief. She got cheats, she got smiles, she got business on the side. She got treats for them guys when the baby out of town. Got cheats, got sides, funny business on her mind. She's so pleased with her life, mind her business, I'm on mine.
Left to 150, 150, Unit 1609, contact departure. Trying to pick it up, get it. 974 Tango Whiskey, 160 3000, 140 on that.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy, The Squint Gaming. I am back. Today is kind of a special time. I don't have anybody home. I'm by myself. I have some alone time, so I decided to try and stream. The echo. There's an echo. Okay. Sorry. Let me see. Does that fix it? It's been so long since I streamed, I have to like reset all my stuff. Better. Okay. I tried turning the volume down a little bit too. Let me see if that kind of helps a little bit. Can you still hear me okay? No, same mic that I've had. I'm not sure if it's maybe trying to capture my microphone on my headset as well. Maybe that's where the echo's coming from. Let's check my settings really quick, just to make sure. So yeah, it has it for the Elgato only. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's sounding different. I am a little nasally right now as well. My allergies have been kicking my ass. It's that time of year here in Arizona, and so I suffer for about 2-3 months. So yeah, that could be too. You know, it's been a while, and I've been gone. So I do appreciate you coming and checking out the stream, Operative. It's good to see you here. I had a few new subscribers, surprisingly, since I've been on my hiatus. So I thank you to all my new subscribers, even though I haven't been on. I appreciate the support, and I hope you guys stick with me. It's like I said, it's not going to be an all-the-time thing. I'm not fully back. I just trying to take the time when I can to make videos, whether it's live or even just making some recordings. I probably will be doing some recordings and posting those. Doing the flight sim stuff, trying to maybe get back into some of the LSPDFR stuff. I can try to come back more regularly. However, most of the reason that I've not been streaming is I started a new job back in March, and so I have a day job now, which is actually really great. I love the job. It's good money. But then once that part of my day is over, the dad/family part of my day kicks in. And usually that takes me until about 9 o'clock at night my time, and then it's usually daddy and mommy time. So there's the family aspect outside of that. Yeah, it's been I think probably February was the last time that I streamed. It was the beginning of February. So yeah, I have been gone, and again I do apologize for that. But life is life. I am actually getting ready to be moving. I'm going to be moving about 2 hours away, which we're actually really looking forward to. So, but that's going to be a bit of a time, taking some time away from this, packing up the house and getting stuff moved, and then getting the new house set up and organized, on top of having a job and having a kiddo and family and stuff like that. So I will. The one thing I can promise is that I will come back. I will stream as much as I can. I just don't know how much that will be. I don't want to promise anything that I can't give. As far as SLRP, so back in, I want to say February, I resigned my position with SLRP. No bad terms, nothing in a negative way. I was not able to provide my commitment to SLRP with the lack of time that I had in my own personal life to do SLRP. It wasn't fair for me to take up a spot and just be on LOA consistently, because I had been on an LOA for probably about 2 months. And to consistently do that, it's like I said, it's not fair to take up that spot. So yeah, sorry, my dogs are barking. Give me 1 second, everybody. I need to check out what they're barking at. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I apologize about that. Yeah, the SLRP, I plan to come back to SLRP. That is my ultimate goal. I was never my intention to leave SLRP, but I did it more or less as a selfless thing, again, to not take up a spot in the FD. I could have gone Civ and just kind of hung out over there, but I still wouldn't have had time to be in to live stream or anything, so it was just kind of pointless for me to just be there. But I do plan to go back to SLRP. SLRP is my home. I've never streamed anywhere else, any role play servers other than SLRP. I love SLRP. All the members are great. I've never had any issues with anybody. It has changed, and I left right before the 2.0 came around. And Gigi had actually asked me to help him with some of the video preview of 2.0 that he had created, kind of as an ask of him from Mark. Gigi reached out to me for a little assistance with creating the video. So yeah, there's a lot of things that have changed, and for the better. I mean, it's not that SLRP was bad before at all. There's improvements, is the way I look at it, and it helps make everything more realistic, and again, more fun for everybody within the server as well. They have the ability to do more things, and so I think the change was great, and it was definitely something that I think everybody is happy with. From what I can tell by watching some of Gigi's videos and some of the other people that stream as well. I know there's been some new faces that I don't recognize. I haven't been able to watch a lot of the streams as I used to either. So, but I was there when we did the switch to just Station 1 and Station 2 are headquarters, and Station 2, but I don't know if I've seen the new Station 2. I know we typically ran out of headquarters mostly because we didn't always have a lot of people to run both stations. But yeah, as far as the FD side, I haven't been able to really watch much of the SLRP in general, in addition to specifically the FD stuff, but. Yeah, I'm sure that they've added in a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure who all the people are that are involved in creating some of those like sceneries, the textures and stuff like that. But they do a great job. They're very well versed in the development aspect of it. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to going back. Again, I just don't know when that's going to be. Possibly closer to fall. I will have my kids for the summer visiting from out of state, so I'll be spending time with them while they're here as well, so that would preclude me from being on my computer and all that kind of stuff while they're here, just hanging out while I'm in here or on the computer streaming stuff. So it will probably be, if anything, I would probably say maybe fall time, but again, it depends on what I have going on with my life. Family comes first, as any streamer will tell you. Some people just have people within their family that also stream with them, or are okay with them streaming and handling other stuff. So, yeah, Andrew has some. He does good streams. So he was an FD when I first started, and then he left. And then he came back, and I think he started streaming again after I left. But Andrew's good people. So, and Matrim, yeah, I don't know if Matrim had the media approval yet when I was still on. I did a couple. I think I did maybe 4 or 5 live streams on FD. But the times that I live streamed, I literally had like maybe 1 call. It just seemed like it was the Murphy's Law. Like if I stream, I don't get a lot of calls, and it's kind of a boring stream. But if I don't stream, then it's like call after call after call. And So, but anyways, yeah, I'm really happy to be on and streaming right now. I will give a forewarning. So I have not yet streamed P3D, or I actually attempted to stream P3D a few months back, and it ended up crashing on me. And just today, right when I was trying to get my simulator set up, I had Streamlabs already up and running, and I was opening P3D, and when I would open P3D, I'd go through all my settings, get everything ready to go, get loaded into the aircraft, and then it would crash on me. So because Streamlabs is very resource heavy, P3D is resource heavy as well. I have a lot of add-on graphics and stuff like that. I have quite a bit of RAM. I have 96 gigs of RAM, so it should be able to manage it. But I do want to just say, in case it happens and it crashes, I will have to end the stream. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that we can make it through the flight today. So it's a little over 2 hours of a flight. We're flying from Portland to LAX. I am in the aircraft right now, but I have not done anything yet. So previously when I streamed on Twitch, I would kind of go through how I would set everything up, all the different like kind of programs and stuff that I use that I incorporate with my flight sim. So I might do like a quick run through of it, but I don't want that to take away just from the flight itself and in cockpit type of stuff. So, but today I'll go ahead and transfer over in game, and we'll get started here. So we are sitting in a PMDG, or Precision Manuals design group, 737-800 NGXU. PMDG, or Precision Manuals design. So I always set all of my aircraft to cold and dark for setup. Typically, I have, when I get into the sim, there's already ground power hooked up. I just have to turn it on. I did go up, still echo. Okay, let me check my voice settings here. I did go up, still echo. Let me check my voice settings. Default on that. And for some reason, I've not been able to get some of the aircraft sounds to play through my headset. Some of them do, some of them don't. They play through the speakers, so you might hear some sounds in the background. Still trying to figure that out. And that's not even with me streaming, that's just in general. It's really weird why I can't get that to set specifically. I have it set in my computer settings, I have it set in the PMDG or the P3D settings, and it just does not want to cooperate with me. So you may hear some sounds through the microphone that are coming from my computer speaker. So I do apologize for that. So you may hear some sounds through the microphone. Sorry, I've been rambling on. So I do apologize. So yeah, Matron does have an. I have seen his streams posted. I think it may be seen like one or two of his, and I've commented on his and stuff. I have seen his interacted. But I haven't seen it a lot recently to see like what content he has as far as from SLRP and stuff. But I haven't seen it a lot recently to see like what content he has as far as slow and quiet and stuff. Gotcha. Yeah, you know, for me it was slow and quiet. It really didn't even matter. It was if I was streaming, it was slow and quiet, and if I wasn't, it was always busy. It's just how it was. It really didn't even matter. So if I was streaming, I don't know. Nature of the beast, I suppose. But anyhow, so all right, I'm gonna go ahead and kick into it, and nature of the beast, I suppose. With the echo. But anyhow, so all right, I'm gonna go ahead. So I was assuming you were talking about you were hearing an echo from, like you talked about in the beginning. There was an echo from. Anyhow, so all right, I'm gonna go ahead. So I was assuming you were talking. Oh, I see. Your echo for, because I said the same thing. There was an echo from. Echo is. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling it has to do with my headset. Let me see if I can check my settings. I have a feeling it has to do with my headset. All right, did that correct it at all? Settings. I have a feeling it has to do with my headset. All right, did that correct it at all? Because I have a feeling. because I have a feeling. No, no fix. Okay. No, no fix.
All right. How about that? Did that fix it?
Okay. No, no.
All right. How about that? Did that fix it?
Okay.
Testing, testing. All right. How about that? Did that fix it? Okay. Testing. I have a feeling I have like 2 microphones set up in my Streamlabs. Nope. Okay. So I have a feeling I have like 2 microphones set up in my Streamlabs. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's something with something I have set up in my. I have a feeling I have like 2 microphones set up. Streamlabs the way it's set up, but I don't know. It's better just more silent. Okay. Well, if you can deal with it, then I can deal with it, and I'll have to figure that out later. It's really hard when I can't hear, because I even have my stream on right now, and I can't hear anything. Typically when I have it unmuted on YouTube, because I have my YouTube pulled up, I can usually hear myself, and then it gets annoying because it's, like repeat echo, and then I can hear it like a second later. But even with it on, I can't hear it, and I don't know why it's not like, at least if I can hear it, then I know that it's working. My speakers or my headset's working to hear stuff, but it's not even playing through my headset, so I don't even know what's going on with that. So again, it's been so long since I've done stuff with Streamlabs and YouTube that I need to go figure some stuff out and figure out why everything is acting the way it is. But again, if you said it's better, then yeah, we can work with that. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and continue on. So I do have what I typically use anytime that I'm flying. I pull up online free service. It's called SimBrief, and it was taken over by Navigraph, which a lot of flight simmers like to use. It's a paid service for Navigraph, but they have the charts that they update, the AirAx and all that stuff each month when the AirAx updates, and so all the charts are always up to date. They have the live charts, so you can have your link to your sim. You can see where you're at on the map at the airport. You can figure out your path, your taxiways to get to the runway. Typically I stream, or I should say, typically I fly with vPilot. And John Rich, what's going on, buddy? I'm doing good, man. I've been busy. Got a new job, so it's between the job and the family life. Not a whole lot of time for streaming. I should say no time for streaming. Trying to get back into it a little bit here and there, but it'll be a little while before I can come back a little bit more regularly. But I have the opportunity today to do a little bit, so I wanted to hop on. And thanks, man, and good for you too. Glad to hear it. How you been? But yeah, so I use SimBrief, and I have a annual subscription to Navigraph, which I love, and I've had that subscription for I think 4 years now. I think I remember when you were back in Texas, we had talked, I think shortly after you moved back to Texas. Maybe it was right before you were still in Florida. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's been so long, man. I apologize. I'm horrible about keeping contact with people. But I will pull up charts right now. You guys can see what I'm using here. And let's see. Yep, there we go. I'll pull it up. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. What is it doing? I don't understand what it's doing. This is okay. Sorry, my Streamlabs is freaking out right now. All right, let's just go back to this. Literally do not understand what it's doing. Yeah, Navigraph charts, you're up. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's what it was doing. It was screen capturing the freaking YouTube. All right. So I have my Navigraph charts right here. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little bit small. I'll go ahead and open it up. But I am push that button right there so you can see this is where I'm at, and it'll actually show when I move and taxi and everything. So I'm going to be taking off from 28 left and flying out to the northwest and then down south to LAX. So here's kind of an overview. You can see, so this is my whole flight plan here. We're up in Portland there, and then there's our flight path down to LA, and I'll click on that, and that'll take me right back to where I'm at here. So it's just over a 2-hour flight from here once we get everything up and running and get taxied out. Typically I utilize what's called vPilot. It's through what you call it, VATSIM. Sorry, my brain is, I'm just like irritated with all of the issues I'm having right now. But the vPilot is typically where we get our live ATC from. I have not been on VATSIM, or I should say vPilot, for a little bit, and with everything going on here, I did not want to deal with trying to manage possible crashing of my sim while I'm streaming and all that crap. So I didn't want to get into setting up a flight with live ATC. They get really pissed off when you just kind of fall off the radar, and since my stream was already kind of crashing, or my P3D was already crashing when I was trying to open it up when I had Streamlabs open, I didn't want to deal with having to possibly lose my flight, which I may, John, just so you know, I may lose my flight may crash, or my flight stuff may crash during flight, just resource wise, even with everything I have, gig wise or RAM wise. I was trying to get into this portion of the flight sim, and because I had Streamlabs open, it kept crashing. Squint cache isn't working. I will have to look at that. You can check some of the other stuff as well too if you would like. I don't know. I probably have to go back into Streamlabs and take care of that aspect of it. I was kind of rushing trying to get the stream set up and everything. So it may not work tonight. I can try and get in there and mess with it and see if I can get it fixed. Yeah, I wanted to try the VR stuff with the flight sim, and then I was like, well, it's kind of difficult when I utilize like my yoke and throttles and all that kind of stuff, because I still also need to see my keyboard. And so when I have like the headset on, it makes it more difficult for me to obviously figure out what keys I need to use or what buttons I need to press on my throttle quad. The yoke, obviously, like I can feel where it's at, but I haven't tried messing with the VR stuff. I did have a thought about trying the track IR, and doing that, but I haven't gotten into that. I've actually been using a program called it's called Chase Plane. It's super easy to set up. I absolutely love it. I just set the different aspects of the cockpit to my numpad. So like I have number 4 set as my captain spot, which is what we're looking at right now. 6 goes over to the first officer. 8 goes up to the higher upper overhead. 5 goes to the lower overhead. 2 goes down to my center console. And then I have 1 that kind of just gives me like a zoomed in view of this area here. And then let's see, I don't remember if I don't have 3 set up. Oh yeah, and I have just this area set up with my decimal key. And then 0 is kind of like just outside without the cockpit. It's actually supposed to be something else. I think it's supposed to be the jump seat, but for some reason it does that instead. But yeah, so the Chase Plane I absolutely love, and then I can go I have a whole bunch of other different views that I can create. I haven't, just because it's super time consuming. Wi-Fi knowledge, as far as what? You got the new Quest 3 video pass. Yeah, I had a Quest 2, and that's one of the things that got stolen when my house got burglarized. Oh man, I'm super nasally right now. Yeah, my wife had bought me a brand new Quest 2 for Christmas back in 21, and it got stolen in Christmas of 22. It was really nice. Had the controllers, came in a nice case. She got it from Costco. I think it was like $500 for the whole thing, or $400, something like that. Refuse to let you sign in to stuff because of a live connection error in your Xbox. Maybe just try resetting your Wi-Fi, your router, or if you have like a router modem combo. That's what mine is. Issue with the router, yeah, that would be my first go-to. Anytime you're trying to figure out issues with your Wi-Fi, usually you got to start at the source. Literally, the source would be your modem/router. Sometimes, like I have cable, so mine will get slow, and I'll just disconnect the coax cable because there's static that will build up in your coax cable. So you disconnect it, it'll basically discharge that static, and then you plug it back in and give it a few seconds or a couple minutes to boot back up, and then it should run pretty good. That, or you disconnect the power. I'll disconnect both at the same time since it takes time for it to power back up too with the disconnect. I'll just disconnect both for like 15 seconds, put everything back together, and usually it works like a charm. So, but yeah, Wi-Fi is really not too bad unless your login is jacked up or something, or you're on somebody else's and they have some weird admin shit set up or whatever. But outside of that, but yes, John is your man to typically ask for that stuff because he does all that Gucci network shit. But anyhow, so I am flying for a virtual airline. It's Delta Virtual, and I love this airline. We can fly more than just Delta. So I'm flying American for this flight, and I had my plane selected, but because I'm here jaw jacking, it didn't save it, so I need to go back and find it again. However, I absolutely love flying for this airline, virtual airline. Like I said, you can fly for a lot of different airlines, from American, Alaska, Delta, United, Emirates, I think Qatar, Saudi, Lufthansa, Air France, even some of the other smaller, like European ones, ANA, Japan Airline. Like basically, if there's an airline out there, like a major airline out there, you can fly for it if they have the flight. Like you can choose your routes and all that stuff. Typically, their only requirements are if you fly to one place, that you leave from your destination, the place that you arrived at for your next flight. And you're not just like randomly choosing like, oh, I'm going to do like LAX to London, and then your next flight's going to be from, Paris to Dubai or something. Like they want you to leave from London to go to your next spot. Yeah, like they're great. We actually just did a huge changeover to a new system. So like what I'm using right now, this is the ACARS, and we're able to go through and, set up our like bid for flights and set all that stuff up and everything. The only issue with it is this one specifically is actually like an older version, because they have a newer version, and I'm not really a fan of the new one that they have, the new ACARS. So I have the older ACARS, and it's really slow. Like when I go in to search for a flight to bid on, it literally like takes probably 30 seconds from when I click into like where my departure is going to be, and then to type it in, and it's like just very laggy. And I'm not really sure why. I'm assuming it's just because it's the older one that's not really supported much. And so I just have to, unfortunately, deal with that. But I mean, it still works. So, I like the setup of it. It mimics the previous version of the ACARS that we had, mostly, slightly newer. But I do really like using this style I was having some issues with the other one, getting my flight set up and everything, and trying to link shit together, and it just wasn't wanting to work. So, but they had to transfer over all my previous hours. I was a captain before the switch, and now I'm back to junior officer. Although they said that rank and hours transferred over, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. So I need to contact the founders and have them help me figure out where all my shite is at. But outside of that, I mean, I still just love flying. It's, you know, it doesn't really affect me in any way of not, you know, like I can go and fly and do what I want, and at the end of the day, everything is virtual. So it's not really anything super crazy, you know, like I'm losing out on, you know, money or anything like that. It's literally all for fun, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy flying for, you know, the virtual airline that I fly for. I was with Southwest Virtual for a while, and I just didn't have the time to fly a lot, and I was going between Delta and Southwest, and basically I just didn't have the time to fly. I didn't meet their flight requirements, so they retired me. And I can go back. I barely have time to do this, so I'm not going to fly for two. When I can barely fly for one, I try to get my one flight a month, which is the minimum requirement for Delta Virtual, and it's great. I do love it. They're very, very lenient on stuff as long as you do things the right way. You know, they pretty much are pretty lenient with everything. So really quick, I just need to file my flight plan on VATSIM because this is kind of a backup where we can maintain all of our flight hours and some of the virtual airlines that are out there. There's a lot of different ones, but a majority of them typically require you to have like 50 flight hours or 100 flight hours before you can apply. And so when you have VATSIM, VATSIM is kind of the umbrella of all of the different you know, virtual airlines that are out there. So if you know, if they want to verify your flight hours, they can simply look at your VATSIM and verify your flight hours. So it's kind of a cool way to just, you know, maintain your flight times and stuff like that without having to maintain it personally and all that. So, but all right, operative, I appreciate you coming in, man. Thanks for checking out the stream today. You have to come back and watch the rest of it later. It'll be boring after I take off because it's going to be 2 hours or hour and a half of just flying, and I won't be really doing anything. So, but on my recorded, I'm going to be doing some recorded flights as well, and I'll probably end up chopping those down to shortly after takeoff and then shortly before landing or before my descent or when I get to my descent. But I appreciate you coming out, and thanks for continuing to support, man. I appreciate it. I know I've been gone, and I will be trying to stream more. So thank you, and we'll catch you another time. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, all right, well, with that, let me go ahead and get everything started up. I'm going to go ahead and I can minimize that, and we are good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. John, what are you flying through your Quest 3? Is it like infinite flight, or is it MSFS? I don't know if Microsoft Flight Sim has the virtual. I'm assuming it has the VR. I bought it like I think back in like October, November, and okay, and I was kind of excited about it because like the last Microsoft Flight Simulator was FSX, which I used to play all the time. But then I got P3D because P3D is 64-bit vice FSX, which is 32-bit. So a lot of the graphics and stuff just weren't as great. And then with P3D, 64-bit. I tried X-Plane. I literally still have the disk for X-Plane 11, and I tried installing it on my last computer, and I installed it, and then I go to open it, and it would just crash. So I was just like, well, all right. And that was when I ended up figuring out P3D. and I've been with P3D ever since. And I tried MSFS, and then I just kind of was like, there was a lot of stuff to just getting started. Like I kind of felt overwhelmed. I'm like, I have to like go through and set all this stuff up, and then on top of that, like now I need to go through and repurchase all of the aircraft that I already have prepared, because the aircraft are not transferable. So you can buy PMDG aircraft for MSFS, but they only work for Microsoft Flight Simulator, whereas the ones I have are only for P3D. And I actually had all these aircraft before for Flight Sim, but I had to for FSX, but I had to repurchase them for P3D because they're not interchangeable, which sucks, but that's how they make their money. But the quality of the aircraft is great. Like I love flying the PMDG stuff. I do have the Aerosoft Airbus collection, professional, the 318 to the 321, the 330, and then I also have the Bombardier CRJ. And then I have the Mad Dog X, the MD80 series. I have the Embraer 170, 180, 190, whatever they are. I have the it's TFDI is the company that makes it. It's the Boeing 717. I have the Quality Wings Streamliner, the 787, and I have a Captain Sim 767. Actually, I have the Quality Wings 757 as well, but the 757, I need to reinstall it and see. There might have just been an issue with the install the last time I used it, but I ended up not installing it again. I uninstalled it because it said that it was supposed to be a fully functional cockpit, but I literally got in the cockpit and like none of the controls, nothing was clickable or anything like that, and I was just like, okay, well this sucks. So I uninstalled that, but the Quality Wings 787 is great. I love flying that aircraft. I usually do like a Phoenix to O'Hare with that aircraft. So yeah, I really like the 787, but typically if I'm flying a long haul flight, I'm usually flying the 777. I like flying like the London to Dubai and the Dubai to London route. I'll fly Emirates for that route. So that's a nice long stream. That's about 6.5 hours, 7 hours probably total with stream time and prep and all that. But yeah, I do the 777 I like, and then I'll usually do the 737 for within U.S. stuff. I'll do the Airbus, like the A320, A321 for stateside stuff, or like Europe, short hauls to Europe, like London to somewhere in Germany, Frankfurt or Munich or something like that. I'll do like an Air France flight, usually a 777, stateside somewhere to or from. Shit ton of sceneries. And I've spent a lot of money with P3D, so for me it was just the better idea to stick with something that works and what I have put money into. So yeah, I really like P3D. A lot of people say, oh, P3D sucks, or it's old news, nobody does anything for it anymore. There's a lot of stuff out there for it. There may not be new stuff, but there is a lot of stuff out there that's not out there for Microsoft Flight Sim, or even like the newest version of P3D, which is a version 6. But that's also something you get when you have a new version or a new platform. It takes time for the developers to develop stuff. I'm on version 4.5. I think version 4.5 has probably the most amount of stuff that's been created that it's compatible with. Version 5 has some stuff that's compatible with it that's the same as version 4. Other stuff you have to buy separately for version 5 because the version 4 is not compatible. But some of the developers will create a compatibility pack so you can download, whatever you purchase, it comes with version 4 and version 5, or you can like download separately, but you have the rights to be able to download both, and you're just paying for the one, like airport scenery or whatever. I have quite a few that are like that. So, but I was having some issues with 5.4. It actually caused me to identify that when I was on Windows 11, that there was a file that was corrupted, and even through all the corruption detection tools and all that kind of stuff, They could never figure out what the issue was with any of the files, and I come to find out later on that there was corrupted files within my Windows 11 that kept causing v5.4 to crash. So I ended up completely wiping everything and reinstalling Windows 10 to be able to get all the proper files installed, and everything's been working really good. So I haven't tried going back to 5.4 again. I think 4.5 works just fine for me, and there's not a whole lot of difference between 4 and 5, version 4 and version 5. And whatever there is different, I'm able to get over it. So, but okay, we are going to go ahead and jump into getting this flight going. So I utilize, it's called GSX. It's through FS Dream Team. A lot of makers, developers, and stuff for flight sim, interestingly enough, are out of Germany. Aerosoft, I'm pretty sure FSDT, Flight Sim, FS Dream Team. Just a lot of different aircraft, sceneries, all that kind of stuff. A lot of flight sim stuff is, like I said, interestingly enough, comes out of Germany. But they do a great job. The sceneries, there's some sceneries that are just absolutely, like, you're like, wow, how can they get such great, detail and everything? It's really awesome. But so I have GSX. GSX is basically the ground services. So as you can see, I have a menu here. It's three keys, hotkeys on the keyboard, and it just pulls up basically something that I would want as, being a plane that's on the ground getting ready to, depart. So, excuse me. So we have request deboarding, request catering service, request fueling, request boarding, prepare for pushback, operate jetways, operate stairs, additional services, customize parking position, and reposition aircraft. So I don't really ever utilize the last three. Actually, technically, I don't really even need to operate the jetway. When I request for boarding, the jetway will operate on its own. But typically, I do the request for boarding, request for deboarding, and then the catering service. So the catering service will bring catering vehicles out. It allows you to choose who you want. They're actual, like, Gate Gourmet, LSG. It'll show the options when I pull it up. But we're gonna go ahead and get boarding here. So request for boarding, and although I'm flying American, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Alaska Airlines. It doesn't really matter. And then it's going to ask me what jetway, or the jetway to what entry. I'm a 737. I only have the one entry, the left forward entry. If I was a 777, I'd have multiple entryways. I have like two in the front, one for the business class, one for the first class. You go to places like Dubai, they have like, sometimes you'll see like an upper deck one for the 747s and the A380s for the first class. Then they have the lower deck ones for the other, economy plus, all that kind of stuff. But then it's going to beep at me up at the top. Right there, you can see it's waiting for the cargo. So I'm going to go ahead and open up. I'll pull this up so you can see it a little bit better.
Do you want to board crew?
So this is my FMC, and this is asking me who I want to board crew. I have the option for nobody, crew, pilots, or both. I just do both. And then I'm going to go to my doors, and I'm going to open my left
Pilots
forward door,
boarding starting.
So that the crew can get on, and all the people after the crew boards. And then I'm going to go to page 2, and I'm going to open up my forward and aft cargo doors. So I apologize. You're probably going to hear a little bit of background noise, which is actually coming from my speaker because it's not going through Streamlabs for some reason. I am still trying to figure out why it doesn't want to work, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll take a quick peek outside. So here is the aircraft. The stairs automatically populate. They rarely ever get used. In Europe, sometimes they'll use the front and back. They'll use stairs for
Crew
both.
boarding starting.
But you can see here's the belt loaders. When you have the bigger aircraft, they actually have the big guys come out with the crates, and they have the big crate loaders that come out and will load stuff, and you'll see all that. It's pretty detailed, pretty cool. to see, you know, all the like the animations and everything of it. So you'll see them load the stuff onto the belt. The belt will push it up into the aircraft, and we can kind of get a little bit closer here. And then when we have the catering service guys come out, you'll actually see them on the truck going back and forth into the aircraft and into the truck to deliver the food. But yeah, I think this is great. I love having this. There were some people saying that this caused an issue with P3D. P3D had an issue with GSX, or GSX had an issue with P3D. There was some file or something. I don't know. It's working. I never had any issues with it before. And then after I got this specific computer and installed everything, I started having issues, and that was when I looked and saw that people were saying that GSX was causing issues, and then other people were saying, no, it's not GSX causing issues, it's P3D that's not wanting to cooperate with GSX. But luckily, after months and months of trying to get my flight sim to work, I finally did, and it was most likely all due to that bad corrupted file that I could not find forever, and finally did, and corrected that issue. But all right, hop back in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get all of my stuff taken care of. So we'll get the aircraft turned on here, got ground power going, and we're gonna head up to our upper panel here, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my IRS and get that aligned. And once we get that aligned, we can set our position. So that'll switch over to align. Boom and boom. Good there. And everything is good here. So we're gonna attempt to take it up to flight level 370. We should be able to make it, but if not, I'm gonna hover at about 340, maybe 350. We will see. Depends on altimeter, all that, you know, weather and all that kind of stuff. But we will get to that point soon. Once we get airborne, we'll be able to figure out what our top altitude will be. Our FMC will tell us, hey, you're not going to make your altitude, and that's fine. We'll just hang out at 34,000. Okay, so now you can see here on the FMC, it's asking to enter our IRS position. That means that the IRS has been aligned. So we're going to go into our FMC, clear the message, and we're going to go to position initiation, and I'm going to enter my reference airport, which is going to be KPDX, Fort Portland. And that's going to give me coordinates there, and then I'm also going to enter my gate. Now, some of the airports gates are recognized. Some of them it will say invalid entry, which typically means it's just not one of the listed or recognized spots at an airport within the sim. But if it is, great. If not, like, you can always try it and see if it works. And if it does, great. If not a big deal. You can just use your reference airport or your last position. If you can see here, they're all three the same, so it really doesn't matter which one you pick. So you're going to select that. It's going to copy it right there. And then we're going to click the set IRS position, and it will do its thing. And now our map is all set up here, and our flight plan will show up once we get all that set up into our FMC here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our departure and arrival. So actually no, first we need to go to here, our route. So what we want to do is for the origin, again, we are going to enter KPDX. And Statui he had sent me a link for where he bought his. He actually has an actual FMC like this for his desktop, like actual physical one that he can plug into his computer and do everything that way instead of having to use the mouse and, you know, push button all that stuff into it, which is super cool, but they are pretty expensive, especially if you get like a decent quality one. I think the one that he's got is like, it's like $900. But they're super cool, and I definitely want to get one to add to my collection of flight sim stuff. And at some point, my desire would be to set up a spot in my house when I actually buy a house again, and have my flight sim room stuff set up. And I want to actually make a screen to use projectors instead of computer screens for that specifically. And build a console and all that stuff for buttons. I mean, I can purchase basically the inside, you know, the electronics that are made for flight sim of either a Boeing or an Airbus aircraft. The individual parts are super expensive. Buying a half of a sim is about 10 grand. Buying a full cockpit basically is like 30 to 50 grand depending on what you're getting, where you're buying it from. But they are super cool. They integrate right into your computer. Everything's basically plug and play, and they're super awesome. Just need the money to be able to do that. John Rich, I'm working for, technically I work under Caliber Collision. I work for a company under Caliber Collision. It's called ProTech. Basically my job is to do calibrations on all of the, I guess, the newer model vehicles that have ADAS, or the driver assistance systems. So your lane keep assist, your adaptive cruise control, lane watch for Honda specifically, your blind spot monitoring, your park sensors, all that kind of stuff. So depending on the make of the vehicle and what they require, some vehicles are strictly just taking the tablet, plugging it into the car, going through clearing codes. You turn it on, you back it up. Okay, hey, the sensors work. Take a picture. Boom, you're done. Others, you have to measure stuff out. You tape measure, lasers, and you have big boards that you put up for the cameras. And it's, you know, recognizing and calibrating those cameras or the radars or whatnot. And they're ranked for, or not ranked, but they're usually scheduled for sometimes 2-3 hours for, you know, like doing like an ACC or doing a blind spot. But they literally, they're super easy once you get the hang of it. Maybe 30 minutes from complete start to finish. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You do a test drive with the car afterwards, make sure everything works right. You fill out some paperwork, upload pictures. You take before pictures when you get the car. Make sure that you identify any prior damage so that they don't come back and try to say you damaged their car. Mileage, photos, anything that's on screen within the car. So like your backup sensors, backup camera, surround view camera. You get pictures of all that stuff that's working, to show that it's working, or that you calibrated it properly. Other than that, you got your tablet you're using to calibrate or program. We actually don't really do the programming. We have to do a virtual assist, and you basically have your computer set up, hooked up to the car. You plug it in, and then you put in a request ticket, and then somebody from ProTech in Texas, in Dallas actually, they log into your computer, and then they go in and they do everything. You just sit there and watch them go through and program whatever they got to program, whatever you're having to program. And then once they're done, they log out, and then you do the test drive, or if it requires like a driving test. So we have static calibrations, which car stationary. Dynamic, we're out driving. The car requires to be driven in order to calibrate itself. And then onboard is literally just clearing codes, and then testing to make sure that the car works. It's functioning the way it needs to be. So, super easy job. I'm actually what they call hybrid, so I'll be doing the ADAS stuff as well as maintenance side. Light maintenance, so removing, replacing, or reinstalling front end stuff, suspension, maybe pulling a motor here and there to facilitate some other maintenance or repairs or whatnot. But I'm technically still in training right now. I've actually completed my training. The only thing I'm waiting for is my van and all of my equipment, which my manager is supposed to bring down this week. And I have to have all that to be signed off of my training. So basically, I've just been doing the job with my mentor. Super cool guy. Him and I get along really good. I get along really well with everybody at the shop that I'm at. But I'll actually be traveling between 2 other shops, doing the maintenance and the ADOS calibration stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it, and it's easy work. It's good money. It's really good money. So I really can't complain. So, but all right, I get sidetracked so easily and not focus on what I need to do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and request my flight plan here. So we have just one that pertains to where we're going, and that is it. PDX to LAX. We're gonna select, and it's gonna go ahead and do its thing, and then it'll say that it's ready to load. And then once it's ready to load, we'll click load, and then we will activate and execute. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to enter in our flight number. Oh, why is it wanting to? There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and load. And it's loading. And then something else you might notice too, you'll see up across the top a little green bar that will show some weather related stuff. It also shows the passengers boarding. That's my message bar, so I have what's called ActiveSky, and I use ActiveSky to basically incorporate live weather into the sim. So all of the cloudiness outside right now in the sim is actually how it is, what the weather is like in Portland at the moment, which is really cool. It's updated, I think, every 15 minutes. But all of my barometric or altimeter stuff, I get the data from ActiveSky, and I adjust based on what the ActiveSky data is telling me. So right now I'm going to pull up my ActiveSky here. So these are right here. Oop, didn't mean to do that. So this is ActiveSky here. I have my weather control. So live weather is active. The conditions. So I have 4 KPDX. I'm just going to type it in. KLAX, and then go back to PMDX just to kind of reset it. So here's my altimeter pressure right there. So that's the QNH and then the barometric pressure, and with US pretty much only uses that. Everywhere else uses the QNH. So it's 59 degrees outside. Dew point, winds, visibility is good. It's cloudy, but it's not too bad. And then conditions for LAX. Check those out. I think it's partly cloudy, so 64. And you can see there's a difference there for the QNH and the barometric pressure. So not too bad. So it should be good weather for flying. And so, all right, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. So we're at 29091. Here it's showing 29092. That's basically the standard. That's what it always loads up as. And then you just adjust from there. So I'll just take this knob and go down 1. So now we are set. Our barometric pressure is set. Our altimeter is ready to go. We are going to be taking off from runway 28 left. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that there. And then we are AAL969 giggity. Morning. No, it's not 969 giggity. I just put the giggity in there because it's 69. All right, so we're all set with that. We're going to activate and then execute. It's kind of just a double whammy to make sure you know what you're doing. And that you want to do what you're telling it to do. It's giving you that extra, like, are you really sure you want to do that? Yes, okay, fine, we're going to do that. Alright, preference initiation, so we're going to request this. Now typically, when I utilize the NGX aircraft by PMDG, it does not offer you or allow you to request your preference stuff here. in the NGXU, they included that along with the requesting your flight plan. So it makes it a lot easier because every airline is different for the cost index, your gross weight and your cruise weight, all that stuff. You can pull it up over in your actions. If you go over to fuel, so this shows your gross weight, your max takeoff weight, excuse me, and then your takeoff center of gravity, your zero fuel weight, and then what you want your fuel level to be. So I'm actually going to change mine to 2/3 because I do not need a full tank to get all the way down to LA. 2-hour flight, definitely don't need that much fuel, just extra weight that I don't need. So now I could enter all this manually, or I could just hit request and it will do its thing again, and then it will tell me that it's ready to load. I will load it, activate it, execute, and we will be all set.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Load. Execute. So you can see there is our gross weight and our center of gravity, same. Zero fuel weight, same. Cost index 45. So I think typically Southwest is 35. The cost index for American, it can vary. It varies by aircraft as well, but for the 737 compared to the Airbus, I think it's like 80, 85 for the Airbus. For like the A320, A321. But yeah, each airline has their own cost index, and it's basically just your fuel and all that stuff. It's all calculated out. I don't remember off the top of my head how it calculates out. There's plenty of stuff out there that tells you how to do it if you are fully interested in learning. I want to, because I do want to eventually get my pilot's license. Excuse me. But I just have not fully looked into everything that goes into that. Anyways, moving on. So this shows your limits, tolerances for your climb, cruise, descent. We don't really have to worry about those. It shows your minimum speed, your maximum speed. And we're good there. So next we are going to go to departure arrival. So here we can see it has PDX. It gives us the option for departure and arrival. However, we are departing KPDX, and we are flying on the Cascade to Standard Instrument Departure, or SID. And then I'm going to have to fix this within my FMC, but it's not a big deal. It's super easy. The transitions that are listed are not any of the transitions I'm using. But I am going to be taking off from runway 28 left, so we will go ahead and put that in there, and actually just go ahead and put poly just for shits and giggles. It won't give me a route discontinuity. So I'll execute, and then we're going to go back, and for LAX we'll click arrival, and we are flying the Ernman 2 arrival, or star standard arrival, and it is right here. And let's see, what is our transition? Burgle. That is our transition, and we will be landing on runway 24 right. However, we're not doing ILS. We're going to be flying at RNAV. It's going to be RNAV Z for 24 right. So you can see we have RNAV Y, RNAV Z, and that's just the flight path. And then I know I actually tried flying this flight the other day, and my sim got all freaking weird, like right on landing, and it crashed. So I lost the flight, which sucked. But because I should be flying from LAX right now, but I'm flying from Portland again to LAX to try to get that flight finished. So Dodger is going to be the transition from. So our pre-transition is going to be going from our cruise, basically like our cruise flight path, to our star flight path, and then this is going to be transitioning to the approach. from our standard arrival. So we are happy with that. And I will execute. And now we are going to go into our legs. And I like to cycle through everything. And okay, so here you can see there is a route discontinuity. However, we're going to fix that. And that's simply as easy as going over to my Navigraph. And I can pull that up and show you so you can kind of see it. Just kind of follow it with me. There we go. Alright, so here is my SID. So the SID is pink. Standard instrument departure is pink, displayed in pink. And we come down here in Chisholm, which is at the top of, sorry, let me hide that. So you can see Chisholm right there. That is our transition into cruise, our regular portion of the flight time. And then it has us go to Poly, but Poly is actually not on our path. Sorry, it's allergy season big time here for me, and I'm super nasally and junky and everything. But Judah is our actual next spot. So simply all we got to do is just come back into Flight Sim. We're going to click on Judah, and then I'm just going to basically overwrite Poly, and then I'll click execute. So then it's going to be Judah, June J, Jaguar. And you can just verify that by just kind of going through the flight plan on the Navigraph and just kind of cycling through everything. And so there's Jaguar, and then actually Burgle, that's our transition into our standard arrival or star. And after that, it should have everything else. So we have Do It, Crowy, Muppet, M-Dots, Gripper, Biking, Run, Herman, Simone, Based, Juice, Cliffy, Dodger, Gatto.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Dodger. So at Dodger, right here in Gatto, there is a transition. So Dodger is the transition into our approach. Okay, so this is our arrival. So at Gatto, it goes to Vector. Basically, that's telling me that I'm going to be in contact with ATC. They're going to tell me, basically give me directions to fly into LAX. However, I'm not doing that. I'm not flying with ATC today, just to make things a little bit more smooth with the flight and not having to manage that in the stream and all that today, especially if my stream decides or my flight sim decides to crash. But with the Vector, it's not going to follow anything. But if you notice, we have Dodger here, Gatto, Vector, and then on the next page we have Dodger, Norp, and then RF9, RF10, and then Lasers. So there's a couple in here that we don't actually need because they're kind of not necessarily duplicates, but they are overlapped of other ones, so there's no reason to have them in there. So I'm going to take Lasers, and I'm just going to move that right below North. And then I'm going to take North, and I'm going to overwrite Dodger because I already have Dodger at Gatto, but I'm going to take North, and I'm going to overwrite the Vector because according to my flight plan, it should be Dodger, Gatto, North, Lays, and then Mumby, Kobe, and then the runway. And that's it. Okay, and then after here, this is in the event we have a missed approach, and then we have to go into the whole pattern. So now that I have my flight plan all taken care of, everything is good. There is no flight discontinuities or route discontinuities. We are good to go. So this is where we're going to be starting off at. I can go and execute and basically save that flight plan, and everything will hopefully go according to plan as it should. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that right now and that. And it's asking me to close my front door, which is where we've been loading everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'll open this back up. And I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to close the baggage. The baggage is usually really quick, so it's been done for a while. However, I am going to go ahead and request catering service so you guys can see that. So here you can see, so it's got Allegiant Air, Air Culinaire, Worldwide Airfare, Chelsea, Doe & Co. Catering
are on their way.
as it closes out. Catering vehicles are on the way. I didn't even get to choose. It's going to give me the default. Gate Gourmet, yeah, all the LSG, all the common ones that you see at the airport when you go somewhere. That's what you have the ability for. Everything is very real life as far as the services and stuff that you get. It's stuff that you actually will see in real life as well. So it's really cool. I like that aspect of GSX as well. Okay, so, and you didn't see anything of what I did because I still have my Navigraph over. I was trying to get it to be able to switch back and forth. It just doesn't want to do it. So I apologize for that. But I can cover this again real quick while we're waiting for catering. So as you can see, we don't have any route discontinuities. I do actually need to do that and that. I didn't realize that was there earlier. And now we're good. Okay, so yeah, now we're all set. Okay, so that's where we're starting off from. So I need to, turn on my flight directors, and I also need to go ahead and start my APU, as we will be getting a catering service here shortly. We need to turn on some fuel. Once the catering service is done, we will be getting ready to push back and take off. So, and then once we get APU up and running, I'll switch to APU power and turn off the ground power and disconnect. So here it's going, it's actually asking me for the doors. So let me go back to my menu. I'm going to open the forward and aft doors. And then we'll go ahead and pop outside, and you can see, so it's giving me Southwest. It's because I didn't get to choose, but yeah, there's the dude loading the catering stuff onto the aircraft. Usually I go with, if I'm not flying Southwest, I usually go with the Gate Gourmet or LSG Chefs. It's typically what I see at most airports when I fly is the Gate Gourmet or the Air Chefs. Or the LSG, whatever it is. And then yeah, Southwest always has their own, but it didn't let me choose. It closed out, and it just chose for me. So, but since they're doing their thing there, I'm gonna go ahead and come back in here, and our APU should be ready to go. Yep. So we're at 400 EGT. And our APU generator is available, so we're going to go ahead and turn that on. And I can go ahead and turn on my electrical, and I'm going to turn on my PDOT probes. And we should be good for right now, and I'm going to turn my beacon on. And I need to see, I'll figure that out in a minute. I like to set my heading, my takeoff heading. So we're going to be flying 283. I'll leave that at 10,000. If we had ATC, they would give us our initial heading, or our initial altitude. But since I'm not flying with ATC, I'm just going to put it at 10,000. And then we're going to go down here, and I'm just going to give myself a squawk code. I usually go with a 06 something. It's a common one that I get for some reason. I don't know why. I usually get like a 06 30 something or 50 something. So that's just kind of what I give myself when I'm not flying with actual ATC to give me a squawk code. But your squawk is your transponder if you are not familiar with this. So when they say squawk, blah, 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 this is your squawk code or your transponder code. So right now I'm in standby. So we'll give it that. So once I get everything up and running and, oh, yep, see, so the catering service is already done, so we're good there. So I'll go into TARA once we get up, running, pushed back from the gate, and all that kind of stuff, and ready to taxi out. And so since they are gone, we can go ahead and close these doors. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to make sure, yep, all those doors are closed. Those doors are closed. We can close out of there. Legs. Actually, I need to go back to init ref. Alright, so we're good there. Go to the N1 limit. We're at 15. So I'm going to go to 20. And good there. And then takeoff. So I'm going to set it. I usually, for the takeoff, I usually go with 5 of flaps. We don't have any heavy weather. We're not super overly loaded down. We're at 19.8 for our center of gravity, wasn't it? And then there's what our trim needs to be set. So once we get up and running, I'll set the trim. And then this is our takeoff speed, V1, V2, and our rotate speed. So I'll set that to 150. Alright, so that is good. 5 flaps. I'm not going to bother pulling up the data for the runway wind or the slope or anything like that. I mean, I could just pull up ActiveSky. So let's see, for Portland, flight plan at 0 altitude, wind direction is 190 at 7. So runway, slope heading up degree. All right, so runway, let's see, 190 at 007. So yeah, that'll delete the takeoff speeds because now it's going to refunction, calibrate for that wind speed and wind direction, which is fine. Because then I'll just go back into my takeoff, and it's still the same. Sometimes it'll adjust it, sometimes it won't, but it didn't adjust it now, so we're good. I just put it back in. And yeah, we are all set there. All set there. And I'll just go ahead and go back into the legs and just have that posted up. And now I can go ahead and request for pushback. So we'll click on that. And I'll move the jetway away, and then you'll see the guy in the tug pull up. And then you'll hear him say, "Captain, we're preparing for pushback, yada yada, please release the parking brakes," which were not set, but I have wheel chocks in right now, so they'll tell me to, when they have everything set up and hooked up, they'll tell me to release the parking brakes and that I'm clear to start up.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So yeah, and it said, "Hello, Captain. We're ready."
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
So they'll say locking gear, pin is in place.
Locking gear.
Since I have the parking brakes on, I can go to ground services. Oh, I need to release the ground power. I forgot to do that earlier. So that's going to disconnect, and I can also remove the wheel chocks. Now, if I removed the wheel chocks and the parking brakes were not on, I'd get a red, put your parking brakes on now. So you've got to make sure you put your parking brakes on before you remove your wheel chocks. But we are good there. And then it's going to ask me which way I want to go. So I am going to go nose right, tail left, because I'm going to be going runway 28 left. So I'm going to be going to the right and down that way to get to the runway. So it's nice to give you the option to which way you want to go. So you can also choose to go straight back, to just do a straight back push. Maybe you're at a certain airport and you could have multiple ways to go, and you're on live ATC and they tell you to take some weird route. You have the opportunity to do that. If you have full top-down coverage, you'll have everything from, and there's our release parking brakes, so I'll go down here and release the parking brakes, and it says, okay, commencing push, will start. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start up engine 2. And we're going to watch our N2 pressure rise up. So once it gets to like 20, 21, I will make sure that it's going good, and then I will open up the fuel valve to idle. I also need to turn my fuel pumps on. I may not have anything in my center line. No, I do have fuel in my center line. Yep. Okay, we're good there. Okie dokie. So, yep, we're going to go ahead back down here. We'll watch that spool up. Now, you could start the other engine at the same time or shortly after. I usually wait for engine 2 to come online, and then I'll get engine 1 online. And sometimes I'll get it done before they stop and get everything disconnected, and then they'll ask me to confirm, you know, for a good engine start. I take my time. If I'm not ready to give them the confirmation that I've got both engines online, then I'm going to make them wait, and they will, because they're AI and they really don't give a shit. So we're good there. So now I'm going to go back up here. So that went back to auto, and I'm just going to put that to continuous, and I'm going to go and click the left side or engine 1 to ground, and that's going to go ahead and start to spool up engine 2, or I'm sorry, engine 1. And we see that that's climbing, no issues. So here's our EGT, or exhaust gas temperature. You always want to make sure that that's holding within the proper.
Please set parking brake.
Go ahead and open up the fuel flow, or basically turn on the cutoff, or turn off the cutoff, and then you'll see the fuel flow start going. And so they want us to put our parking brakes on.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
So basically, like when you're starting up the engine, when you have your fuel cutoff on, you're doing what's called a windmill. So you're basically spooling your motor, but it's not fully running, if that makes any sense. So a windmill comes in very handy. Say you have an engine fire. Yes, more oxygen gives you more fuel to the fire. However, windmilling can actually help put out a engine fire. So when your fuel cutoff is activated and you've cut off fuel supply to your engine, and you windmill the motor, it will basically help blow out the fire. But then you're also not going to want to put more fuel in there and reignite the engine, because it's probably going to catch fire again. But now we've noticed, so both of our engines are online and stable. EGT is good. Fuel flow is good. This is our fuel right here. So this is our quantity, this is our total quantity, this is our center line, and these are our wing tanks here. So now we're going to get our confirmation for our good engine start. So confirm good engine start. They will say that they're disconnecting, they're clear, have a good day, Captain, yada yada yada. And this is when I take my time to go ahead and turn on my taxi light, my runway turn off, and I'm going to engage my motor generators, my engine generators, and disable the APU generator, and then I'm going to turn off the APU, and I'm going to put on my wingtip lights. I'm going to put that to continuous. Everything is good there. Oh, seatbelt sign. Yep, everybody should already know that. I should turn that on earlier. Chime. Boom. Yaw damper. We'll go ahead and turn that on. Window heat.
Tow truck disconnected. 5 has been removed.
It's a little cool out here, and then up in 37,000 feet.
Clear. Right is clear.
Cooler. And we will do probably anti-ice once we get closer up to altitude. So lights for right now, everything is good there. We'll turn these on when we get to the runway, along with our anti-collision strobes. And yeah, everything is good there. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the wipeout. It's basically just making sure all the flight control surfaces are clear and working properly. So I just do a behind the view or behind aircraft view, and do a left aileron, right aileron, hook stick left, right, forward and back, so you see the elevators moving up and down. And then rudder pedals. Just verify the rudder is working properly, which it is. Very good there. That's centered, and I actually need to slightly offset my rudder because it keeps kicking to the left for some reason, and it's my pedals. I know it's my rudder pedals specifically that are doing it, and I've tried recalibrating them and they don't want to properly recalibrate, so just need to offset the rudder trim a little bit. Now we can go ahead and turn on our transponder. Doesn't really mean anything right now because I'm not flying with ATC. It's just a habit I'm in, setting my transponder and then not flying with comms because I'm not talking to ATC. My nav radio I don't need to worry about until we get to the approach. Check our do all of our engine fire tests. So boom, that should all light up. Go the other way, everything else, yep, all that lights up. We're good there. And test there and there, we're all good. Alrighty. And let's turn on our auto throttle and arm that. And we will go ahead. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and set my flaps. And we'll just put them at flaps 5, so it should be at 5. It might go one past. I didn't have my no. All right, it stopped at 5. I have a lever on my throttle quadrant, and it was actually down. I didn't reset it before I started. I wasn't paying attention. And we are all set, so we can go ahead and release the parking brakes. And we are all set to taxi out. So typical taxi speed, about 20. Your ground speed, some aircraft will show it, some will not. This one does not show it. Usually it shows up right about here, and it'll tell you what the number is. But it's just gonna be, it's gonna stay at 45 because that's like the minimum for your like ground speed, airspeed, what have you. But you can usually tell, like, if it seems like you're going too fast, you're probably going too fast. If you're literally like the aircraft is sliding when you're making turns, you're going too fast. Really all you got to do is just throttle up, get the plane going, and throttle all the way back, and it will coast. The only thing that's going to slow you down is when you make the turns. So we're just taxiing out here. So you can see, like, I have my rudder pedals straight right now, and well, it's not doing it, but that's okay. Alright, we're going to make a left here because that's the runway. We don't want to go out that way. And because we're taxiing out, we want to be on the outer edge of the taxiways. The inner taxiways are for vehicles that are or aircraft that are arriving. So we're going to take the, not this turn, but the next left turn. Turn here because that is another runway. That's the runway we're actually going to be taking off of, but we need to go down to the beginning and take off from down there, because that would be a very, very short runway takeoff, and we would not make it. So yeah, once you get your aircraft set up, so yeah, so you can see it's going. I'm gonna mess around with my rudder adjustment here and bring it back, and we'll see if that fixes it. So you can see it's so now in this, the my rudder pedals are acting as my nose wheel steering. However, in certain aircraft, they don't use the rudder pedals, they use a tiller. So this is actually the tiller right here. That's how they steer on the 737s, and I believe the 777s and 747s are also. I think the Boeing in general, Boeing aircraft are the same. The 777 may not be. I actually don't remember. I haven't flown the 777 in a while, and I usually don't really pay attention because I'm always using my rudder pedals. But we're slowing down a little bit, so I'm going to give it some speed. I do, before I forget, since we are taxiing, I need to adjust my trim, and we needed 5.6. And I check back and make sure I'm still online. I go throttle back down again, and that should be a good enough speed. So each notch is a solid number, so I want to be closer to, we'll say probably about there should be our good indicator for 5.6 degrees. Sometimes if you hover over it, at least in P3D, you hover over it, it'll tell you like what it's at, and other times it doesn't. So like I can use my mouse and do that. I have a wheel on my throttle quad for the trim, so I just spin that, and that links to the flight sim, and that'll set my trim for me as I spin it. Obviously I'm still looking at the dial, but yeah, I love my throttle quad. It's very intricate. There's a lot of stuff that goes into like programming it and stuff, but it's really great having the throttle quad. It's very much like an actual throttle quad in a Boeing. With the throttles, thrust reversers, flap handle. I can change it from a 2-engine to a 4-engine. I can use it for jet propulsion and prop. It's got the extra handles and stuff to add on for the 4-engine stuff. Unfortunately, they never came out with like an actual good quality A380. There was one that I paid for, unfortunately, and it was absolutely crap. I think it was AFS was the company. The cockpit was barely functional through like mouse clicks and stuff. Like I couldn't really manage much of anything by using the mouse. It was just very plain, very dull. I didn't spend a whole lot on it, but the fact that I paid money for it and it was just like I didn't even keep it. I deleted it because it was absolute crap. But nobody's created one, and people are like, oh well, nobody's going to create one because the A380's been out for so many years, and nobody's interested in flying it. I'm like, in personal opinion, I don't really agree. I think plenty of people would love to fly the A380. It's a really cool aircraft. The fact that the whole thing's double-decker. I've personally never flown on one, but I've seen plenty of them. My ex flew on one from LAX to Dubai back in 2018 when I flew her out to see me. And I mean, shit, a 13-hour flight nonstop from LAX to Dubai. She was pretty comfortable in economy. So that's really all I can say about that. But just having it as a flight sim aircraft, I think would be super cool to have a fully functional cockpit and to be able to fly it. I would definitely pay for a quality A380 aircraft to be able to do flight sim with. So just saying. So anybody out there that's into dev and wants to create a no shit like quality A380, I will buy it. I will buy it. So okay, at this point we are at the hold short, and I would be contacting ATC. American 969er, ready for takeoff, runway 28 left, and I would get my clearance and clear for takeoff, give me the runway winds and direction. and clear for takeoff. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on my lights, and we are all set with everything here. So let's do it. So I have my my takeoff speed set, I have my heading set, I have my altitude set, I have my flaps down. I do need to set my auto brakes to RTO. And then on landing, I set them, depending on the aircraft, the weather, and all that, I'll usually set my auto brakes to about 2. If I have a heavier aircraft, I'm usually going 3 or max, especially if I have a 777, if I'm flying a heavy. I'm usually max auto brakes plus my reversers plus full flaps plus speed brake. But just to get everything situated here, we'll get centered on the runway, we'll get the brakes on here, and go ahead and throttle up. And I have a button for my toga, my takeoff go around, so I'm going to go ahead and engage my toga. And then you can hear the engines kind of whine up. And here we go. And with my rudder, I have my rudder pedal. It really irritates me that the rudder pedals do that, because it keeps wanting to go to the left, and then I adjust it, it goes to the right, and the calibration on it is just wonky. But we are approaching V1 and rotate. So we'll go ahead and pull the stick back, and we are airborne, and we have positive rate of climb, gear up. And I'll go ahead and activate my autopilot, LNAV, VNAV, and that will put us on course, on track. And so it's going to basically abide by what is in the FMC as far as what we need to be at. There is no actual, if you look in the SID, there isn't an actual minimum altitude you need to be at, other than just the initial takeoff. It was like 540. We do have a restriction of airspeed, so anywhere you go around the world, the minimum or the maximum aircraft speed or ground speed is 250 knots below 10,000 feet. Above 10,000 feet you can go faster. We need to keep our, we can turn off our taxi light because that is on our landing gear, which is up. We do need to turn off our runway lights, but we're going to keep on our landing lights until we get above 10,000 feet, and then we can also go ahead and set our engines to flight. And I already have all that on, and we are good to go. So yeah, getting ready to fly through some clouds. And I can go ahead and we'll, so I'm going to put this lever down, so it goes down halfway, and that just locks the landing gear. And we are climbing perfectly. We're at proper climb speed. Two. It's probably going to take it to 1, but just because my... Oh, no, we did take it to 2. Cool. So I'll go ahead and do a exterior view for y'all. Yeah, I'm not going to see much of the clouds. This is exactly the reason why pilots use their instruments. So the altimeter is still at 29901. So on my keyboard I can just hit B, the B key, and it will auto set the correct altimeter. Or if I was running the QNH, it would do the same thing. QNH. but since it is maintaining, it's the same. There's no adjustment there. Once we get above flight level 180, that is the transition altitude, where we would switch to standard. So you'll see STD, not that STD, monkey, but you'll see standard, and that just means that it's using a standard altimeter setting instead of having an adjustment based off of the barometric pressure. So this is telling me to reset, so I'm going to pop this up to retract the flaps all the way, and we're going to go up to 37,000 feet, and we'll see if we can make it all the way up there. As I said before, if we are not able to make 37,000, we'll probably hover around 34,000 or flight level 340. And so yeah, we'll see what we can do. Right now I'm just setting the vertical speed. Sometimes it likes to just, once it gets to, like it was set at 10,000 before I adjusted it, sometimes it likes to just hang out there. You'll see the needle kind of go up or down or whatever, and it just kind of hangs out even though I've reset my altitude. So I usually just kind of give it a little kickstart, and I'll just say, hey, I want you to climb at this vertical speed, and then it'll kick in and go up to 37,000 feet on its own. And then I can also, since I'm above 10,000 feet, I can increase my airspeed. So I'm going to bring it up to 308. It's indicated right there. Once we get higher up, it will switch over to Mach, which is the conversion is 0.792, which ends up being like 280, roughly 285 knots, indicated airspeed. Roughly is at a certain temperature or a certain altitude, you're not able to go that 308 knots or 320 knots or whatever. There's the altitude physics of but you can see we are on the pink line, which is our flight plan. We are tracking that. While we're flying, just as a backup, I always like to adjust my heading bug to the heading that I am tracking, which is 116, which is one, make sure that I'm on top of which way we're going. If the autopilot becomes disconnected for some reason, disengaged, and I have the heading bug set to 250 and our heading is 098. Well, then I'm going to be going in the wrong direction and get off track with the flight and all that stuff. Major issues, especially if you're flying the VATSIM, vPilot with ATC, Central is on, whatever center you're on. Where the hell are you going? What the fuck are you doing? Get back on track. I'm ending your flight plan. You can fly VFR, and we're no longer at ATC. Like, some of them get pretty douchey. Oh shit, sorry, like my plane fucking disengaged. Like it wasn't my fault. I apologize. Let me get back on track. Give me some guidance. Some people are cool. There are some really good ATC people out there that are more than willing to help you out, especially if you're learning, because they understand like it's not serious, like you're not going to kill somebody, and they understand that you're learning, and there's no reason to be a dick. But there are some people that are literally, like, they take this so personally, and if you do like one thing, because your sim's messing up, or your aircraft's messing up or something, or you're taking a second because you're learning, you're new, and if you're learning and you're making a mistake, like some people you say, oh, apologize, I had a misturn. Some people will be like, okay, no problem, make a, turn left heading blah, 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 decrease speed or increase speed, whatever, to get you back on track. And there's cool people like that. There are some super douchey people on ATC sometimes. Most of the time it's the US, honestly. European people, most of the time, I think I maybe had one or two over in Europe when I fly there. Because when you're in the area, like if I'm leaving from London to fly to Paris or something, I'm going to get somebody that's in the UK on VATSIM as my ATC. We're at above 18,000 now, so I can go ahead and hit standard. So there's STD right there. So that will adjust. And when we come off of that and drop below 18,000 on the descent, you will see the altimeter, the altitude indicator will fluctuate, and then you have to set it to what the current altimeter is. But yeah, the ATC in Europe, for the most part, they're really cool. Sometimes they can be a little difficult to understand, especially if you're in like Germany, Amsterdam, or Netherlands, Denmark. Some of them have some pretty thick accents. They speak really good English, but some of them have some pretty thick accents, so trying to understand what they're saying can be a little difficult. But I do want to say I appreciate all of the people that do ATC for everybody that does flights. So they have, basically, that's their passion, is the ATC side. Some of them are also flight simmers themselves. So they're usually the ones that get it. Like, yeah, don't be a douche. No reason to be nasty. Like, some people are learning. You just give them a minute. Nobody's gonna crash. Nobody's gonna die. Like, it's really not a huge deal. People are learning, and yeah, they might make mistakes, but better that they make mistakes in a simulator than in real life. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yes, to all of the ATC people, appreciate all of you and the service you provide to increase the realism of the flight sim community. I definitely appreciate it. And it just makes it more fun. It makes it more inclusive and immersive. Flying and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's always great when you have, like I said before, everything from top down. So you have clearance delivery, your ground, tower, departure, approach, center, and all the way through a flight. I think I've had a handful of flights where I've consistent ATC for the entire flight, from everything from clearance delivery up to center, and then on the other end from center all the way down to ground. And there's other times when I'll get, it's one person that is covering clearance delivery, ground, tower, and then they pass you off the center, and then you get on center, and center's getting ready to leave. So they're like, center's terminating service, switch to Unicom, and then you're basically just on Unicom calling out your stuff. American 9 or 6 9er approach, runway 28 left, LAX, or LAX traffic, whatever. So it gets, at that point it's like, alright, well, if it's only going to be freaking Unicom the whole flight, why am I going to call it? So when you do have people on for ATC, it's definitely better. A lot of the times when I fly, it's usually later at night, and so unless I'm flying in Europe, most people in the US are not on past 9, 10 o'clock at night doing ATC. So, whereas Europe, it's in the morning there, and so there's people that are on ATC. So yeah. I've been doing flight sim, which since I was a kid, I've always been interested in flight sim. I played on the original Microsoft Flight Simulator or whatever, back when it was super pixelated and choppy, like Windows, probably Windows 3.1 or whatever. And then when it came out, when they upgraded on Windows 95. Next version of the flight But I used to do a lot of flights around Chicago and stuff. But even then, it wasn't even like me doing full-on flights that I had. I always liked doing the tutorial flight, doing the landing. So like I would take off and then literally go right around and try to land. So landing was always like a fun part for me. Trying to land through all these little big boxes and fly through them to get the proper glide slope. I didn't really know much or anything about flying. It was just fun to go out and do it. And do all the 2002, 2004. I don't think I ever played the FS9. I kind of jumped from 2004 to FSX. And I started learning more of FSX. And then I started following people on YouTube and learning more and more about the flight sim stuff. Let's see, probably 7 years ago was when I fully got into learning about how it works and SID, stars, flying different approaches. But I knew the basics of, the difference between VFR, IFR, and various systems and stuff. I worked on aircraft, so I learned a lot about that aspect. Actually doing it on a sim, I wanted to learn a lot more. Learned a lot more. Followed people on YouTube and how they did stuff. And obviously getting into aircraft, newer aircraft, sceneries to make everything more real, VATSIM, virtual airlines, and just all the different cabins and stuff. Definitely been super interested in it and enjoy doing it. The opportunity to sometimes like the really long flights, but I do the long hauls from Chicago to London, or London to Dubai, where it's a 6.5 hour flight. So it's like I get the flight up and going, I set the autopilot, and then I do something else on my laptop, or just kind of let it do its thing, and then I just will check back every so often to make sure everything's feeling good. Check my heading, which I don't pay attention to, so I can adjust that. So it keeps me honest. Yep. But yeah, so that's just it's kind of my history with flight sim, and I love doing the tutorials and just kind of showing people how to set stuff up, different programs that I use, all together within outside of flight sim, but what helps me in order to fly. So the Navigraph, Chase Plane, ActiveSky. I think those are pretty much about it. vPilot for ATC, and then SimBrief, which is flight planning. And yeah, SimBrief ended up getting bought by Navigraph, which is nice. I mean, it was fine before. It's still free. SimBrief is still free. It's great. I love using it. A lot of people utilize like PFPS. But that's also a payware. It is more in-depth. SimBrief actually kind of does everything for you. You put in some of your main information, flight number, your aircraft type, where you're going, where you're departing, where you're going to. It'll auto-select an alternative airport for you. Put in the type of aircraft that you're flying, and it will literally calculate your in-out, your block times. It'll do your altitude based off of the weather. Big, say hi, over here. We can talk about anything we got. We got a little bit. Let's see, where are we at? Yeah, we still got quite a bit to go before we even hit our descent, our top of descent. So, do it, I believe, is top of descent, or it's actually in between. There's right in between there's top of descent. So I'll start descending. Oh no, sorry, Burgle is top of descent. That's when we start descending down. But I'm already at 34. I was getting that cabin issue, cabin feed issue. So I just decided to decrease it to 34,000. Annoying alarm. So yeah, so Burgle will be when technically the descent will start. And Crowley we need to be between Flight 260 and Flight 290. And as we start decreasing, our airspeed will actually be able to increase. You can see the red line there is indicating that that would be an overspeed. If we went above that, we don't want to do that. Stress out the aircraft, cause some damage to it. So we have that maximum flight indicated airspeed that we can go to. So 280 is about the highest we can go without overstressing the aircraft. The higher altitude we go, the lower the speed we want to go. I could technically go up, so we should be at 7.9 or 2, which is about 285, so I could go up to maybe 7 and 8 for my airspeed. It would just get us kind of going a little bit faster. You can see the indicator right there, so that's Mach 0.78 right there. Let's go up to 7.9. And you can see how big of a change that is just between the two, because we don't have the ability to go into the thousands. It's just the 100s aspect. So if we're at 0.80, we're just below 280, so we can actually go ahead and do that. Increase the airspeed there, and just kind of help us get there a little bit faster. This is kind of the boring part, just like on any actual flight. You're just kind of cruising. Whatever you do to keep entertained, and then start getting back into the controls aspect of it once we get to the descent. Get our descent and get into the approach phase. Well, if you're new to channel or come over to the stream, pop into the chat, say hi, let me know where you're from, and let me know if you have any questions. Everything's working good. So the last time I tried to do a live stream flight, I don't remember at what aspect of the flight that it crashed. I want to say I don't even think I had taken off yet, or maybe I had just taken off and then it crashed. Aircraft didn't crash though, the flight simulator itself. Something that caused it to crash. I'm not sure what it was. Still can't figure out what it was. I had to re-image my entire computer. The sim that I was using was actually a newer version of this. This is P3D version 4.5. So it's an older version, but I really like this version. I have a lot of add-ons for this specific version of P3D. Some of the ones that I have do not work with version 5.4, which I do have as well. But I've had some issues with 5.4, and that's what I was streaming on, using it for the stream previously. When I crashed, also Windows 11, there was a corrupted file. So I think it ended up being the corrupted file that was causing P3D to crash. But it was weird because I was able to get as far as I did, but then after that crash, I couldn't even get into the sim, and it kept crashing. When I could get into it, it would crash when I was doing the ground services stuff with GSX. Trying to figure that issue out, thinking it was something between GSX and P3D, only to find out a little bit later on that it was actually a corrupted file, Windows file. And so I re-imaged the computer and reverted back to Windows 10. Even after that, with 5.4, I installed that, installed all my add-ons and everything, and was still having some issues freezing up, and some of the sceneries for the airports and everything, it was just causing some really weird, funky things, like the jetways were way up in the sky, and or they weren't showing up at all. Airport sceneries weren't working properly, so uninstalling everything and reinstalling 4.5, and solely the add-ons, the aircraft, the sceneries, like a couple at a time, open up the sim, clear out the cache. So that method seems to have kind of fixed, fingers crossed, the issue with having all the add-ons. I don't have all of my add-ons in, my scenery add-ons installed. Figured I would just start installing some as I need them, as I would use them, so I'm not really overloading the simulator. It's already a pretty resource-heavy application, in addition to Streamlabs, which is a resource-heavy application. I have the RAM to support it. I got 96 gigs of RAM. I do want to increase it with another 96 gigs, just to be completely covered and everything. But the 96 right now should more than cover. I think the Streamlabs takes about 28 to 30 gigs of RAM with streaming. So that's very, very resource heavy, because I was at 32 initially when I got my computer, and started having some issues with trying to stream like PGA Tour and SLP and stuff. So I increased the RAM. It seems to be, I haven't had any issues with anything else streaming. And again, I also haven't been streaming for a while. Just a good time to say, screw it, I'm going to stream tonight. So it's been working out. I'm really glad that the stream's working out. So. But everybody that's watching in, joining in, welcome. And if you're new, make sure you hit that like button for me. Also hit the subscribe and follow me for more live streams and video recordings. Free to join my channel. I am not monetized. However, if you feel that I deserve any sort of tip, it's always appreciated. I actually need to fix my stream at least, because I don't have any of my PowerBot stuff working. So actually, while we're on the flight, I'm going to go ahead and try and mess around with some of that to see if I can get some stuff working. I'm not sure if it's sound even though I have it set to not pause off-task or sound well, that it still does. Yeah, I have some other videos. This is actually my first full-on flight sim that I've been able to do stream. So just I was having some other issues with crashing on me. I was able to get all that figured out luckily, so glad I've gotten that taken care of. creating content for people that enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, I have my other camera that I want to get set up, but since I'm going to be moving, and within the next month and a half, before July 1st, set that up. So once I get moved and reset up and everything, space to have my mini studio in. Yeah, so space right now. Small little place, but it works. To have my own actual space where I can show everything out and be able to do what I want to do here in space. So, okay, so here's, we're about to begin our actual descent. We've already been below our actual altitude, but now we're going to go ahead and get into more stuff and the more engaging. We're back into actually doing stuff with the aircraft. So we're going to be, technically, we've already begun our descent. We need to cross, do it at flight level 360. We're already at flight level 340, 339. So after we cross do it, we will already be below that. And that is more of a suggested, however, because this is highlighted in the chart. This is a requirement. This is going to be also listed on the star. Understand the arrival chart on your plate. So we need to be at 290. We need to be between flight level 260 and flight level 290. So you can be at flight level 260, or you can be at flight level 290, or you can be anywhere in between as long as you are above this and below this. So that is the only requirement. Whenever I have multiples, I usually try to always be on the lower end. The higher you are, it just makes it more difficult trying to get the proper alignment and not have super steep descent. You don't want a high landing rate. So the higher you are, the higher the landing rate is going to be. And a really good landing rate is like 100, 125, 300. Not bad. 300, 500, it's a little steep. If you're over like 800, 900, it's like, all right, you're literally almost safe. So I try to keep it as low, on the low end of the requirements of their US style. So I'm going to go ahead and begin to set this to 260. As long as we can get down, we should be able to not worry about doing this steep descent. But that's exactly why I say on the low end so that it's not too steep for follow-on descent. So we can actually go ahead and slow it down. It says 290. We can actually, we're at 285. We can slow it down. I'll bring it down there. We can say that, so that will change it to the IAS versus the Mach. Right out. So bring it down to 279. We're already descending at a pretty good rate. We have 18 nautical miles to get down to at least flight level 290. We should have no problem doing that. So actually I can just go ahead, because it's going to take us a while to get down. I'll usually just see what on this page what my lowest altitude is, because especially right here we have 12 nautical miles between Crowley and Muppet, 7.3 between Muppet and Knots. So it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to really make those descents. So I can actually even increase the vertical speed to negative 2200, kind of get us down a little bit faster. Also, reduce the throttle speed. It's already maintained by the autopilot, so it's going to hover right around 280, 279, 280 in that general area. Hover right around there and just control our altitude as best we can. So we're at 296, descending through, just got 6.8 nautical miles before we cross. And like I said, usually we'll go with the lowest, so 16,000, we're going to put that straight down to 16,000 because we're not even going to make the minimums each time just because of the short distance between each of the waypoints. But we do need to make sure that we're paying attention to our altitude, because once we do get to 18,000 or 180, we will need to switch back to our actual altimeter reading, which we can usually do. We'll push this button right here that says SPD, and our altimeter will show up, but we also need to make sure that it's set. Now we need to get below 230, so we're at 27280, so we're not too bad. We should be able to get down to maybe 250 before we cross one. But put in some speed brake if I need to slow it down. That will also kind of reduce our descent rate. So it's kind of just a balance. We're above 10,000 feet, so our speed is not breaking any rules or laws or anything like that. By being higher than 280, unless it's specifically stated. We're good, so yeah, we're still high because we're descending so fast. Our speed is increased. 250 now. Go. Descend. So honestly, I think we're on a pretty good path. Drag. A little bit away from Simone. So we'll pop out the speed brakes here in a little bit. Slow us down. We're going to increase our speed. And that's another thing too. I like to kind of decrease the speed on my MDCD. MDC. Yeah, another thing too. Set so that I can engage and get to speed and autopilot and take over. We're already below where we need to be for the maximum, and we're getting closer to our minimum. Not too bad. Go ahead and engage the speed brakes, slow us down a little bit, see if we can vibrate because we're going pretty quick and air under the speed brakes vibrating, jump a little bit pretty quick. We're going to hold that on until we can get our speed down a little bit. Get it down to 275. That will make it easier for us to increase our speed down to 261, and then required speed of 250. a pretty big altimeter change. We're at 2984. So that actually dropped us down kind of quick on our altitude. So that's actually helped us out a little bit, bringing us down, our altitude down a little bit faster. Based on the altimeter. So we're 16 and a half. 11 miles before crosswind. Set altitude, we're 1,000 above. We're just going to drop it down to 9 down because we are going to have to descend down there back up to we need to get 9,000 or above. Technically, almost 11 miles. And we drop down to between 80 miles. So I'm going to aim for the lower end. And you'll see also our speed is going to be increasing as we drop below 2,000. So I'm going to go ahead and increase that to 240. And I'm going to increase our vertical speed a little bit to come up with our slower use of our airspeed. We got 10.5 nautical miles to 9,000. Okay, so that's our TA, traffic alert, transponder. Increase that back up positive so that so now we are below 10,000 and we're at 250 because we're pushing it close to 250 below. So I think we just put and below 250, dropping down a little bit. We're at 17. We still have the speed brake extended. It's just kind of a rough being high descent. And we're going to drop it again to 8,000 for juice, 7,000 coffee, and I'll probably just adjust the vertical speed so that we're hitting them when we need to be and not over exceeding our required speed. So we are at 9,000. So it's going to be 9,000 or above. That's what A stands for. You will see a B, so it'll say below a certain, so you can be anywhere, basically up to or below that. But typically you'll see the A, so it's 9,000 above, and then here you'll see the 2 is indicating up to between both of those. So now we can go ahead and reduce this down to 232, and we will go ahead and set one of the flaps. we're already at 2 flaps. Yeah, because my flaps handle for some reason doesn't want to indicate or recognize flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 5, because each aircraft has a different increment of their flaps and how they're set, so it's kind of hard to set it for each specific aircraft. Increment. 7,000. We're down to 6,000 and we dropped to 10. So that's flashing right now because our airspeed is faster than what they're set to. And it's saying that actually we need to have more flaps for that airspeed to be set. And then we'll stop flashing once the flaps go down more. And then we cannot do flaps beyond flaps 10 until our gear is down. Perfect. And you can see our airspeed stopped flashing. We are good there. So we'll be at 210 as we continue our descent and our approach. And I'm going to open this up here and we're going to go over to our graph index approach and we're going to set our flaps to full and our speed of 139 knots. So we'll click that there, it copied it there, and then we're going to place it right there. And that is our setting for our landing. So our VREF will be 139 knots, and our flaps will be set to 40, which is completely full flaps. And we're going to set flaps to 10. Now right here at Kobe 2200, that is what we need to be at to catch the glide slope for the runway. So we will be at that altitude and we will capture the glide slope, and you will see right here it will change once I hit the approach button. It will once it grabs the glide slope, you'll see it'll say single CH or single channel, just meaning it's using one channel to catch that glide slope and bring the aircraft down. I do need tracks, so I need to go down more, and I also need to lower the gear. And we need to go down to 45. Way, because that's where we're going. 35. So at this point I can hit the approach button and it will catch it, and I'll put this down to 20. Actually, let's go down to 2 just to reset it, and it will catch it. Right here on the PFD, you can see it's got these 2 pink notches. So those will move towards the center once it aligns and grabs that glide slope. Captures the path, and that tells us if we're too high, too low, too far to the right, too far to the left, and there's the single channel. are. You can see that now filled in, and we're centered on the runway. And this is now filled in, and it's going to. Here we are. You can see that bring up. And we're centered on the runway. This is just go to full flaps. And we're down to 0 there. So you can see they are both centered on the line, which means we are on a good angle, a good glide sweep capture the glide slope, which means we are on a good angle. I'm going to hit B again to refresh just to make sure that our altimeter is properly set. It can change when you're descending, so we want to make sure that we always have that updated to make sure our altitude is correct. That's especially necessary to do when you have, if you're like full fog and you can't see anything, you rely heavily on your instruments. If you've ever seen the second Die Hard, when they adjust the level of the airfield on the computer, they basically tricked the computer of the airplane to think that the ground was closer than they, or further than they were, so they ended up slamming into the runway because the altimeter was incorrectly set because they hijacked it, so that caused them to crash. So we're getting our call outs. So my throttles are at idle. Coming in, and the autopilot will probably automatically disengage once we get right above the runway, and I will assume controls. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down to 139. Still a little high, we're at 150, bouncing around at 150. Our auto throttle is flashing. We'll just go ahead and clear that. I didn't check the winds, but we should be alright. We don't have anything too bad. We're lined up at the runway. I'm not getting pushed off. So we look like we're doing pretty good. Actually, I do need to put these on. We're a little high, and this happened to me the other day, and then it crashed. So I was like, okay, I guess that just happened. We're a little high, and this happened to me. And there goes the autopilot. Okay, I guess that just happened. And we're just gonna lightly bring it down. And flare. And come on. Come on. Why are you turning? Come on. Bring it down. Bring it down. There we and we're off. Yeah. Okay. Reverse thrusters, brakes. Yeah, this is not a normal landing. So, and we're gonna probably skid off. Yeah, this is not a normal landing. So, come on. Auto brakes. Auto brakes. Auto brakes. Brake. And we're good. Alrighty. Well, that was entertaining. And we're good. Alrighty. Well, that was entertaining. I'm not sure what it is about LA, but I've had that issue once before where it literally tells you you're at the right. I'm not sure what it is about LA, but like you're at the right altitude coming in, your glide slope is good, you're right on it, but you end up being like super high. The altimeter was set properly, and you still come in super high. I really don't know what it is. But you end up being like super high. The altimeter was set properly. The airport. So they might have to do something with the scenery or something. I'm not sure. It's just really weird that I have that issue, and then it does that for some reason. I don't understand why it's just really weird doing that. Gear handle went up, does that for some reason with my gear down and I'm on the ground. So we will go ahead and retract our speed brake. Our flaps are being retracted. I need to turn on the APU, get that ready and going, and We need to leave the strobes on until we cross the other runway. Packs off. We need to leave the strobes on until we cross the other runway. And we're good. And we'll go ahead and continue our taxi. Good. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Los Angeles. Current weather. Here is your current weather conditions in Los Angeles. That was LAX. Why did it go to PDX? Current weather. Here is your current weather conditions. And here we go. So 16 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees. Oh, dang it. Off clicked. I hate when it does that. My bad. Sorry, everybody. Just because I was off clicked and it didn't register anything. 61 degrees Fahrenheit in LA currently. And the local time is 7:02 p.m. If you are connecting to another flight, please make sure you check the boards inside the terminal area. If this is your final destination, welcome to Los Angeles. If you're returning home, welcome home. If you're here on vacation and visiting, we hope you enjoy your stay. We appreciate you choosing American Airlines. We know there are plenty of other carriers out there, and we appreciate you choosing American Airlines for your travel business. Thank you again for flying American, and we'll be at the terminal in a few minutes. Flight attendants, prepare for arrival. Thank you again for flying American, and we'll be at the terminal in a few minutes. Alrighty, and now we have the choice of where we want to park. So I typically like to try to find, I look ahead of time on where airlines typically park. So I typically like to try to find what their usual terminal is. Sometimes they kind of mix and match in some areas. Other times they have certain areas. You get one terminal that's all American, one terminal that's all Delta, one that's all United, one that's all Southwest, so on and so forth. But for right now, I am just going to pick something that is on this side of the airport, and something that is pretty close. So I'm going to look at Terminal 3, so we'll look in the 30s. Let's try 36. Next page. Previous page. Let's go to 27. I like that number, 27. All right. So I'm just going to ask you, do you want to just warp there? Do you want to follow me, truck? No, I don't want either. And we want American Airlines. Warp there. Do you want to follow me? So when we get up to the gate, we'll have American Airlines labeled ground support equipment, ground services out there ready for us. And that's usually a good indicator on where your terminal is, where your parking is at. So I have my chart up, so I'm looking at it right now. Where your terminal is, where your parking at the next turn in, the next right turn that I can make, which will be taxiway Papa. I'll be making a right and then immediate left onto taxiway Delta. We are currently on taxiway Echo. And I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up a little bit speed-wise. And I'm gonna pull up my Delta Virtual. So on my Delta Virtual, let's see. Okay, so my touchdown was 208. So that's pretty good. That's actually really good. That's pretty low. I usually try to aim for the 100s, but that's pretty good. My landing rates vary depending on the airport. But I've been lucky recently. I've been in the 1 and 200s for the past few flights, so my landing rate is good. So I'm happy about that. So we're gonna bump the speed up a little bit more. I feel like we're kind of grandmaing it along right here. So ground speed again, when you're taxiing, you want to keep it usually below 20 knots. ground speed again. Some of the aircraft will have an actual indication, like right down here in the corner, what your airspeed is or what your ground speed is. This one particularly does not. I think it's because it's the 800. I want to say the 900 does have it, or it might be the NGX and not the NGXU that has the airspeed. So I'm going to go and turn off the transponder, put that in standby. So we do not need that, and then that will get rid of this message here. Clear that out. And pull this up. Oh, I was supposed to turn it. That's fine. And back. So I'm going to go back to my menu, FS Actions, and once we get to the gate, I will have my ground services stuff set up so that I can get my chalk set and get the ground power hooked up, and I can shut off the APU once I get ground power hooked up, and I can shut off the APU. And actually, I can shut off my runway lights, and I can shut off my anti-collision. Good to go. So, alright, so this is Lima and Kilo. So we'll go ahead and pop down the Lima over to Delta Taxiway. So we'll go ahead and pop down the Lima over to Delta Taxiway. So we'll make a right turn here. And there's our taxiway sign telling us where we're at, and that says we are on Sierra, which is definitely not right. So yeah, it's weird. Some of the airport sceneries don't match up with charting and stuff because they're not always the most accurate on the sceneries themselves. But trust the charts. Always trust the charts. The charts are there. They're made specifically for you to use, and they're more accurate than the scenery stuff is a lot of the time. So, so we're going to 27, right? Yeah. So it's going to be on the end. So not this building. It should be this terminal right here. Yeah, so it should be one of the end right here at that terminal is where we're going to be parking it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I can see the stairs and the stuff right there. If I'm not mistaken, I think I can see the stairs and the stuff right there. A little bit slower on the internal side of taxiway, just because there are other aircraft that typically pop in and out, especially along the outside here. You get aircraft that back out. I mean, they're usually really good at controlling that kind of stuff, but you still always want to, between that and also the ground support vehicles and stuff that drive around and stuff. They drive on the taxiways and everything, and the aircraft movement areas. So we just gotta watch out for those guys. Alright, so I see stairs right there, so yeah, we should be parking right here because they usually hang out towards the back end. So that should be right there where we're gonna pull in. Right there, so yeah, we should be parking right here because they usually hang out towards the back end. So that should be right there where we're gonna pull in. So I turned off flight directors from captain and first officer side. Don't need them on. So I turned off flight directors. Just verify everything. So we have our flaps are all up. Speed brake has been retracted. Our landing lights are off. We just have our taxi and runway lights. Flaps are all up. Speed brake has been retracted. Our strobe is off. I should say our anti-collision strobes. Our beacon is going. APU is on and ready to go. So I can go ahead and switch over to the APU right now, so that as soon as we park, I can shut the engines off, and we will not lose electrical power. Engines off, and we will not lose electrical power. And I got my little dude right there telling me where I need to go. Let me turn my lights off so I don't blind him. And I got my numbers there that tell me which way to go. So I'm a little off right there, perfect. And I got my numbers there that tell me which way to go. And we are good. So he gives us the X, and we will go ahead and put on our parking brake and shut down our engines. And we are good to go there. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in the jetway and set wheel chocks and request ground power. And once that's hooked up, then we can go ahead and shut off the APU. And once that's hooked up, then we can go ahead and shut off the APU. There we can shut off these fuel pumps. And once we get the ground power available, put that to standby, keep our wingtips on, and shut those off. And I can turn off the fasten seatbelt sign, and we'll go ahead and request deboarding.
The boarding requested.
And default jetway, confirm. And
The boarding
we
requested.
have that, so we can return. Doors open, open and open. Doors open. And let's see, ground power. Yep, we have ground power, so we can turn off the APU. That all can go off. PDOT can go off. Window heat. All off. APU fuel. PDOT controls can go off.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Back on. And that should be. So we go up here. We can turn off the IRS. Good there. And that is that. We have landed at LAX and arrived. So obviously this is a Delta terminal here. So oh well, not a big deal. I was actually in the process of creating a Delta terminal here. Kind of like a Excel spreadsheet / Google Earth file to be able to see like what each of the different gates were specific for, and I got quite a few airports done, and then I ended up losing the files because my laptop decided to take a crap. So, and I thought I had it backed up on a hard drive. Actually, I did, but that file ended up being corrupted for some reason. So, but my PIREP has been filed through my virtual airline, and yeah, we are all set. They accepted it. My landing rate was good. If it was a high landing rate, they don't accept high landing rates over, I think it's like 900, 800 or 900. But we are good there. And so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And you can hang out and watch them take all the luggage away. He's done, so he's going to pull away. And he's probably waiting for a baggage cart. Oh, no, baggage unload complete. Okay, so let's come back in here, go to doors, And next page, close those hatches. Come back in here, you can see the people getting off over there. And it's a pretty good parking job. I've done better. I've had further, like closer to 0. Actually, I've had 0, 0, and like 0.3, I think. I've done better. I've had further, so it's pretty good, pretty accurate. And that is that. That. Sorry, wife's texting me. All right. Sorry, wife's texting me. Make sure we got the wheel chocks in, but brakes are on. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and to a switchback. And I'll go ahead and leave that there. Go ahead and connect that. Battery off. Alrighty. Well, I know that was a little bit of a long, kind of boring flight, but I hope you guys enjoy watching. The ending was a little crappy. I said I've had that issue before. I don't know why. It's super irritating because it almost puts me higher than what I should be at. When landing, the landing was smooth according to the landing rate, but obviously it was not a smooth landing, and I was off the runway, so irritating, but made it safely for the most part. Got to our destination, and I enjoyed being able to do a flight and being able to live stream. I know it's been quite a while since I have done a live stream, and I miss it. I really do. But again, family comes first and foremost. And since I had started my new job, that and everything else in my life has been taking up a lot of that time that I normally stream. So I do appreciate y'all coming out and checking out the stream today. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and hit the subscribe button for me as well. I always love getting new subscribers. I don't charge anything to be a subscriber. Welcome any and all. I just ask that you keep the comments to be polite, keep the chat polite as well. I do have my moderators. They will silence you if you get a little crazy. So, but again, I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I will be doing more as I can. I will not promise a steady flow of streams because I cannot. I don't want to promise something that I cannot deliver. But again, I do enjoy content creation. I enjoy having people in the chat, talking with people while I'm streaming. And next time I'm out flying, feel free to ask questions if you're interested in flight sim, if you're new to it, or just want to learn more. You have questions about something, whether it's software or the aircraft specifically, the sim, whatever. Drop your question in the chat, and we'll get it answered for you. So then, with that, I will see you all next time on the Squint Gaming. Until then, peace and love, everybody. Stay safe in this crazy world that we're in right now. Treat each other with love and kindness, And just remember, we're all here to have fun, but we just need to enjoy it. But again, be nice, be kind. There's too much hatred and all that in the world. So I digress. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. Squint Gaming, out.
Yeah, go against the tribe, you lose your. Let me not even say this shit. I just ran out of my pages. I just got tired of waiting and got here myself. Niggas want me to believe in the dream that they see for they supposed to.